So I just didn't want to text this out because it's like too much. But the ring wraiths can sense the ring to like a degree, but we're mostly just looking for Frodo Baggins because they knew who Frodo Baggins was, or who the Bagginses was, from just shaking people down. And they know who to look for because it was just like the only fucking hobbits running from them at any given time, right? Even Sauron doesn't realize like when the ring is like right under his nose, essentially, until I think it's like when Aragorn's at the gates, or like right when they're at Mount Doom. So like it's not so much a sense like they're searching for it like constantly, like eternally. So they've been searching for it for like hundreds of or like thousands of years, but they were also like not active the entire time. Like the ring wraiths or like the Nazgul are, like you said, they're Kigs who were given the 9 rings of power, who like succumbed to the One Ring, right? And then the 3 that were given to the elves. So well, the ones that were given to the dwarf lords, they just didn't work. So the dwarves, like Sauron like activated that ring, and then like nothing happened to the dwarves. They just, what was supposed to happen just didn't work on their fucking dwarven brains. Because when the Marlar, who made the dwarves, he made them in spite of Iluvatar. So Iluvatar was like, everyone is going to get their own kind of creature like the Marlar. They all get to make their own thing on Earth, right? Some people make more Iluvatar, like some people make less, like Iluvatar made the elves. They all made something. And this guy was like, he didn't want to wait. He was impatient and greedy. And so he made the dwarves, and then Iluvatar was like, you made these things without my consent, so I'm going to gift them your imperfections, like the imperfections that you have that made you create these and not wait. I'm going to kind of curse them with those. So like the dwarves can only like, they're like obsessed with one thing, and their brains just don't operate on like the wave that the rings needed to take them over, right? It only worked on the men. And then the elves, their 3 rings, before anything could happen, they literally just pulled them off. Because Sauron was, the people who taught Sauron to make the ring were the fucking elves. Like Sauron is like this seafaring like race of people. And so the elves just popped the rings off, but it worked exactly as it was supposed to with men, right? Because they had like these corrupt minds, and they're like, they're just obsessed with power. So that being said, like the Ring of Power itself is also like like everybody's fighting for it. Like in the movie, it's like, hey, let's get this back to Sauron, but half of Sauron's orcs and half of Saruman's orcs pick up Pippin and Merry, and they both think that they have the ring because they think they're Frodo and Sam, right? That's why they captured them. But they don't have the ring. And they're both trying to get both of them back to Isengard or Mordor, right? Because they both have their own agenda. Because it's like an enemy of my enemy is my friend with Sauron and Saruman. So they're not exactly allies. It's like a race to who can get the ring faster. So that's like kind of a long roundabout way to talk about the ring. But like the ring is a weird object because it like, well, all the rings are like, you can still use the other rings of power. Like Gandalf has one of them where they don't talk about it, that where he can use fire with it, like control flame. Like he uses in The Hobbit a bunch. They don't really show in the movies because those movies are bad anyway, but like he like lights shit on fire all the time to like scare people or do all this other shit. But like Gandalf is also like a Marlar. Like he was sent to like guide all the living things of Earth, right? Like him and all the other wizards. But yeah, so the rings of power are weird, and they all kind of do different things. And they don't really interact with each other, but they affect people differently. That's the reason when it's like, why does it when, you know, the ring makes some people invisible, or when Tom Bombadil puts on the ring, nothing happens. Like, well, I mean, when Tom Bombadil puts on the ring, nothing happens because nothing happens. Like in Fate Stay Night, when this is just like a crude example, but like, you know, in Fate Stay Night, when Ryder makes like the fort over that high school, and Shiro and everybody's like trapped and it's like sucking out their blood. That's what like Tom Bombadil kind of like has. He has his own fort. Or no, think about it like his Archer's reality marble. Think about it like that. In his plane, he can do whatever he wants. So he puts on the ring, and nothing happens because he sort of controls the entire area within the ring. So the ring is literally powerless within his grasp. And it's the same thing with the Nazgul, because the Nazgul show up there, and he literally scares them off. You don't even know how. He uses nothing. He doesn't use a weapon. He uses nothing. They just run off. Because Frodo, Sam, Pippin, Merry, they all get caught in this tree that's like drain. If you like fall asleep under this tree, it like sucks you in and kills you. But Tom Bombadil sees them, grabs them up, throws them back. Then the ring race come because they see him, and then yeah, that's a whole fucking other story. But if you're interested in this stuff, I suggest checking out the Silmarillion. You can skip around too. I think people get a little twisted. They think the Silmarillion is like this. They read the first chapters and it's boring, which I personally disagree on. I think it's a great read front to back. But the Silmarillion has a lot of this information. But just read the first chapter and then skip around, because it's like a short. Think about the Silmarillion as like a short story compilation of like, or like an omnibus of like cool shit that's happened in Middle Earth. So it doesn't just explain like how Middle Earth was created, but it also explains like specific battles between like an Elven king and like Morgoth, who is like Sauron's lord. It just like, it goes into detail about the rings. It goes into detail about a ton of different stuff. So that's like a really good resource if you're starting to get interested in like more specific like Tolkien type stuff. So that's like my suggestion. Also been playing a lot of Black Ops, so come play some Black Ops.